Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Real World PDR YouTube channel. So, quick language warning. I have been respectful of those of you that wanted to hear less cussing in these videos. I calmed it down quite a bit. Well, today is not going to be that day. I'm taking the filter off for myself. So if you don't want to hear the cursing, I recommend that you turn the video off, turn the sound down, maybe forget how to read, but definitely get the kids out of the room. You've been warned. So here's what happened. Account that we haven't worked with for a while drops off a vehicle. Here it's a truck. Well, I hope it's not an aluminum Ford. Sure enough, aluminum Ford. Shit, I hope it's not a bedside dent. Sure enough, it's a bedside dent. Hope it's not black. Well, look at you go here. Bonus, it's also a very possible repaint. So that means we can go ahead and throw glue pulling this thing right out the fucking window, because the last thing I want to do is deliver this truck with less paint than it came to my shop with. So here we go. This may go down in history as the most curse-laden, vulgar, petty bullshit PDR tutorial that has ever been. But if you don't mind the jackassery, there's going to be lots of good info to be had as well. Let's do it. Hey, what's going on? Jim here with RealWorldPDR.com. Of course, what else? Today we're going to take a look at this bedside damage on this all-aluminum Ford F-150. So I have a rough idea of how I'm going to start this. We'll see if it works or not. We're going to be using the declaration set and some of the new tips from Revolution PDR Tools, and I think it's going to be great. Now, we have a saying around here, and that is, heat's for cowards. But that's wrong, especially on aluminum. Aluminum loves heat. So just because you don't see the heat the entire time in the video, heat was applied most of this repair. Aluminum panels fucking love heat, so applying it is going to protect your paint and make the panel a little more malleable. That word's hard as shit to say. So anytime you have a mind to really wrestle a dent out, a doodah is a great option. So I've got the Revolution PDR, the middle size tip, on there that I'm going to be pushing with. It's just a little bit wider and flatter than everything that I was using, or I was planning on using. So we'll see how that does. Now, we designed it as a knockdown tip, but rules are for suckers, and I'm going to push with it. That's right, my shop, my tips, my damn everything. If I want to push with my knockdown tips, I'm going to. Actually, these are the tips that I found that were going to be the flattest push against this panel. Obviously, since I can't glue pull, I still want to bring this whole damn thing up as close to as once as I can. Because if there's anything that I hate, it's texture. And bruising this panel up before we really even get into this dent is going to cause excessive texture and make my finishing time longer. And finishing fucking sucks. It takes forever anyways. So you can see here just a few good pushes on that. Now, the way that I have to stand so the camera can see, I probably could have pushed more using this wide tip, but I was kind of looking flat on with it so you people could see what I was doing. One other thing to remember here is that when this panel was impacted, it did indeed displace metal. But that shit gets hidden from you because of the shape of the panel. Never mind my goofy ass broken looking thumb. Look here. On either side of this dented area, you can see this big ass crown. Now, the way the panel is shaped, one side's going to be hidden from you if you're working on the other side, and that is something I argued with this entire damn repair. So of course, I'll show me doing it again so nobody forgets liberal application of heat when working on, well, just about anything, but especially aluminum. Also, I'm going to use these Revolution PDR tips. Instead of for pushing this time, I'm going to use them as designed for knocking down some crowns nice and softly. Yes, you can absolutely break this paint while you're knocking down. I know because I've fucking done it a bunch. Okay, a bunch might be for dramatic effect, but a lot. I've done it a lot, okay? Okay, so the reason that we designed these tips this way is because it's somewhere in between just a regular ass blending hammer and something like a slapper tapper. A slapper tapper has quite the learning curve and how to figure out. Everybody knows how to use a hammer. Everybody uses a knockdown. Obviously, these can go on your knockdowns as well. So they are very easy to figure out, give you that same flat knocking down experience so you're moving crowns without causing texture. That's why we built these damn things. Now, if you don't see much happening, well, that's probably a good thing, now isn't it? That's because I'm not causing any texture. Remember, in PDR, if it happens real fast, it probably happened real wrong and you're getting ready to kick yourself in the ass in about an hour when it comes to cleanup time. So be patient, homie, and use heat on aluminum for the love of shit. Next tip we're going to use is just a step down, a regular ass soft tip right here. I don't remember what company makes this. I want to say Edgy, but then if I commit to that, somebody's going to try to correct me. I don't know. I think Edgy Tools makes that soft tip. So same thing here as when I was using that broader tip, which seems like for freaking ever ago now. I'm just trying to get what this tip is going to get for me easily. I'm not trying to fight this dent. I'm not trying to push through a whole lot of pressure. You will see me overpush here and there. Again, I'm using that declaration set to get the leverage with this doodah and doing the best I can to not screw up the texture from here on out. Now, the declaration and the doodah provide so much leverage that if I wanted to, I could probably rip a big ass hole into this bedside. So while the leverage is great, this kind of tool is very heavy and ungainly. You can move a bunch of metal fast, but it is going to become difficult to do any real fine tuning with this. Now, in normal situations without that declaration set, what I would have to do is probably bend up one of my dent dials, figure out how to set it up to get right up in here, and hey, that's a great solution to this problem. It just takes a little bit longer than I really want to piss with. What the declaration set will allow me to do is use my regular rods to push this. For me, it's a little more natural feeling, a lot less setup, and I just enjoy using my regular rods more. This is not a trash. This is not putting anything down about the dent dial. The dent dial is an excellent tool. It's one of those tools that you don't really need until you need it, and then it's the only fucking tool that's going to do the job. On top of that, the dent dial will do damn near every job if you take the time to set it up, which is just something I don't do that often. So I'm gonna go ahead and double speed this here just so we're not watching a whole bunch of the same. So in that reflection, you can see how far up my arm is and my eyes are much further down. So it is actually kind of difficult to use this tool like that, especially given the shape of the panel where half of this damn dent is hiding from me around the corner as I'm working it. So even faster here at 4 times speed, where I do a little bit of knockdown with those tips. Well, I guess I'm gonna do a little bit more pushing, but I do some knockdown with those tips from Revolution PDR tools. Now, you can see that there is getting to be some texture. This is where I wanna back off. I wanna get everything to one event. At realworldpdr.com, you'll hear me talk about one event a lot. I like this whole dent to come up as one unit. That does a lot of things that we do discuss in depth at realworldpdr.com in the lessons, but a couple of key things that it does is it makes sure that I'm keeping my repair clean throughout. If I move the light like that, that thing looks about done, right? Ha! Not so much. Also, it makes sure that I'm not working against any pressures that I'm not seeing. One event, it's a beautiful thing. So you may have noticed a complete lighting change. That's because I opened up the bay door over here because it's a nice day out and I'm not paying for heat. Also, I changed the battery in my James Lee limited fatty hail light, so it's going to be a little bit brighter as well. I get this question a lot, so let me go ahead and address it in this video. A limited or Stucky hail light? Man, they're both great, depending on what you want. So the limited actually videotapes better because it's got a lot softer of a fade, whereas the Stucky, I feel like you can get a little more precise with your work because it's a very crisp fade. Also, the Stucky does have that added benefit of being really, really portable, very small batteries as opposed to the big batteries. But then again, the Illumident is huge. You can do a lot of surface area and never have to move your light. So if you ask me which one I like best, I like them both for their own reasons. James Lee in Illumident has worked out a deal with RevolutionPDRTools.com, so we now are offering the mobile Illumident lights on the website. That's RevolutionPDRTools.com. So in answer to that question, I can't really call it. Choose between super crisp fade and wildly mobile, or a giant damn light that's got a really nice soft fade. Or be a spoiled little bitch like me and have them both and use them for what they're both good at. Okay, now step 35 or something of this dent. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use this ultra double, triple, huge diameter, crazy bend thing that Casper picked up at MTE, and it's got a tip that you can put on it. What tip is that? That's right, that's the Revolution PDR's tip. Again, a knockdown tip, but what do I say? Rules are for suckers and dumb people. So, we're gonna try to push with it. Our buddy Ray Sapnew over at Precision PDR Tools, he's the guy who brings you the lift crate, says that this thing pushes like a champ. Let's give it a try. Hey, don't forget the heat. If you can manage to heat a panel with a fake perky ass attitude like I'm doing here, that's expert level shit. And here we go. So because of the way this dent is oriented, I cannot really get that camera out of my way to show you this, so I'm just going to talk to you a little bit. Now, I'm using this Revolution PDR Tools tip, and it does push like a freaking dream. So that's good to know too. Not what it was made for, but it works. Now you might notice that I have not gone metal to metal yet, and if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I prefer the feel of metal to metal. And if you're a completely misinformed a-hole, you might assume that I always advocate for sharp tips. Well, no. My tip matches the dent that I'm working on. There's nothing stretched about this, so I'm going to go ahead and match up my tip, something nice and soft, for a nice and soft dent. Don't worry about that cryptic, petty bullshit. It'll get less cryptic here in the minute. This is 1,000 times speed. Just to let you know, time was spent here. Speaking of untalented, misinformed assholes, hey, you know who you are. Stay out of my work inbox. I know that you were trying to be complimentary, but then the next day, another tagged me in a post that you were talking shit about one of my videos. If you haven't caught on that I'm talking to you yet, your name rhymes with busy. Okay, give me a second to explain. Not that I really have to. It's my video. I'll say what I want. This is a dude that I had tried to help long after everybody had given up on him. After enough shit talk from him and stubborn bullshit, I finally threw my hands up and said enough is enough. He still finds his way into my work inbox and has this weird obsession with tips. Well, busy. I've got tips on top of tips. And I use them to make a living, and I've become quite adept at teaching other people to make a living, using their tips and tools and whatnot. The last guy started February 2nd, now by March 18th is a working technician. That's a month and a half. Now, how many years have you tried and failed to do this PDR thing, always blaming somebody else? Face it, this isn't for you. Now, I know you're sitting there with your dick hard that I would even think to mention you. But let it be known, this is unlike me. I am telling you right now, you're gonna have a hard time being successful at anything. Shut the fuck up, listen to people who know, and get out of your own fucking way. Furthermore, don't reach out to me. I don't want to talk to you. When one day you get a hold of me talking shit about Mike, and then the next day you're all up on his dick, I know everything I need to know about your personality and who you are, and enough to know that I don't want anything to do with you. So this is it. I'm breaking up with you. It's not me, it's you. Please fuck off. Well, I feel better. I did mention that this video was kind of more for me than anybody else, right? Shit, I guess one in like 100 videos I can make just to make myself smile. So hopefully during all of that rant, you saw the tip that I'm using now. If not, here it is, check it out. Here it is, kind of a bluntish, roundish, bullet style tip. Nothing real crazy here. Again, we started with that fat tip, then we went to a softer tip, a little bit smaller diameter. Now we're on to this one. What we're doing is we're graduating down, and that, my friends, is the graduated system, and that is what we teach at realworldpdr.com, obviously much more in depth. Now at this point, we've chosen to move to a smaller tip because if you look at what is left, there's nothing real big. The accuracy of that soft tip isn't gonna be enough. A super sharp tip is gonna be very, very accurate, but it's not gonna move enough metal. So you kind of see what we're getting at there. Now, this is not a one-size-fits-all kind of idea. There are other factors to consider, including the depth of the dent. The placement of the dent even matters. How sharp is this dent? So there are a lot of things to learn here, none of which are magic and all of which can be learned at realworldpdr.com very quickly. Now take a look in here. Notice how those lights and that fade and the shadow pinch together real tight here. Now I wasn't seeing this while I was working on it, but what this shows me is that there is some displaced metal that is kind of pinchy there, and I need to take care of that. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, this is something that I was fighting throughout this dent. I really had to put down the pushing tools, step back for a second, survey what was going on. Why does it feel like I'm fighting this dent? Well, that doesn't help anything. So making sure that you are taking care of displaced metal does have a huge impact on the end result of your dent. So you're sitting here watching, this is at 200% speed, and you can't really see a hell of a lot going on. Well, bear with me here. Let me double that speed again. And then after I'm done, I'm gonna show you where we were whenever I started knocking down to where we are now. So pay close attention. So here to there, here to there. That may not look like much to you, but that is a significant difference in the shape of this entire bed corner. And those seemingly small movements can have a big fucking impact on your repair at the end. So since we've been repairing this all from one way, you can see whenever I look up at this, I've developed these little lows in here. Nothing too crazy, but that is not a flippin' finished dent. Woo! I haven't fucking sweat like this in a while. it's warming up, but that's good. But we're all stuck inside because of a nasty fucking virus that's trying to kill us all. Cool. So, I'm going to work this thing straight up now, and I'm going to use two different tools. One being a Reaper rod, the short one, from John Vadine over at Dent Reaper. The other one is this pick tool from Excalibur. Now, let me tell you this. Excalibur won Tool of the Year, I don't know, 2 years ago. Then John Vadine with that Reaper rod won Tool of the Year. And if something doesn't happen soon, Excalibur's taking it back with this pick set because it's amazing. Let's get back to work. So the cool thing about this Excalibur pick set, and this isn't a review, I'm just talking to the camera, I might not even include this. Cool thing about this Excalibur pick set is notice the orientation of my hand. It is natural. I am just getting busy with it. No crooking myself, no doing anything crazy. Just really resting my hand on that, and it is wicked comfy, ergonomic. Remember, you're a dent guy. You have a shelf life. Try to extend it. Use good tools. Now let me speak on that. I'm not here to sell you Excalibur tools. I am in no way associated with any tool company other than my own. That's revolutionpdrtools.com. Having said that, I do have nasty tendonitis in my left wrist, and when that shit acts up, I'm not doing a fucking thing with my left wrist. I'm definitely not pushing any fucking dents. It puts me out of the game if I've got to use my left arm. So where you can, don't use dumbass tools. Right now I'm just showing off this declaration set, how we can use a tip to actually gain leverage off of the declaration set while it's set up. Whole lot of stuff here, so I'm just gonna burn through it. Again, that deck set is saving the day. Let's skip ahead in time here just a bit. So this is your first video with me, and you haven't watched any of my previous videos, and don't know anything about the Reaper rods. It's a very sharp tip tool. Now, I've moved on to a sharp tip tool. We started very, very soft and graduated down to a sharp tip tool. That is a graduated system that I teach on www.realworldpdr.com. So at this point, I'm about an hour and a half late for leaving the shop. So I'm trying to get through it. So right now, the low spots we're picking up are incredibly small. We're trying to be pinpoint accurate and get it right the hell where we want it. I'm sure that sounded worse than it was. So again, skipping forward here. Now, I want you to watch the texture in the reflection on the panel. So you can actually see this texture move a little bit. You can actually see where I have a little bit of a flat spot and the fine-tuning work that actually goes into finishing a dent. This is the part that frustrates most new students. They really don't understand that this last 5% is gonna take forever. That's why I preach to keep this repair clean throughout, so you spend less time doing that. So even at this point, you can still see there's plenty of waves and shit to be had. Hold on, one more fucking petty rant to be had. Now you might be saying, Jim, these guys aren't worth it. Well, no fucking shit, but it's fun for me. Now that I'm putting some of the finishing touches on this dent, at least the bulk of it, let's talk about something real quick. A lot of you have already tuned out because you don't care, and that's fine. So, we already talked about one real fucking jackass. Well, there was another one, too. Not the same, he's different, a different kind of jackass, a different brand of jackass. If you don't know that I'm talking about you, your name rhymes with Bonathan Smith. There you go. Who was trying to infiltrate this PDR community via lies. He was schmoozing, telling the sob story, and then telling grand stories to other people, trying to get free stuff. Listen, pay your fucking dues. That's the only way that you're going to break into this PDR community. Work hard, pay your dues, don't scam people. The people who do that get called out quick, they get blackballed, and frankly, they'll never get any help from anybody. The reason this community is so close is we have the shared hardship of learning this skill. It's not an easy skill to learn. I was a freaking Marine. Marine Corps boot camp is notoriously hard. Really a cakewalk compared to learning PDR. So we all have that who live in this community. You lie to one of us, you be shady to one of us, and Bonathan Smith, we're going to find out about it, and we're going to blackball you just like we did. But really, that is with anything now, isn't it? Pay your dues. Work hard. Be good to people. You'll find success that way. And you won't look like an asshole. I guess that last part was a blanket statement because it's too late for you, asshole. Stop doing reviews about shit that you don't fucking know about. You look and sound ridiculous. So we have the bottom of this panel right here. Now this is a cool opportunity to use a cool new tool that Casper and I have picked up. From B&D, these edge pliers are fucking tits. They say they work on fenders too. I don't see why the hell they wouldn't. Now before we use this, more important than anywhere else on this panel has been, we gotta heat this edge up. It is extremely likely to crack paint here on this edge. So it's pretty obvious how these bad Mammoth Jammas work here is they are the pads, the feet on either side. And if you look underneath there, I did get a pretty good angle that you can actually see that tip pushing out into the panel. So you're using squeezing pressure instead of any kind of leveraging pressure. Now, I'm gonna speed up the video a little bit, but when you do this, you go slow, okay? Because here's what fucking happens. If you push on way too hard at the very edge of that panel, now that panel rolls over. It's two panels, it's two layers now. It is incredibly difficult to knock down and knock down cleanly. So don't rush this. Just let me reiterate, when shit goes wrong with this type of tool, shit goes wrong in a hurry. Shit goes wrong in ways that it is really difficult to unfuck.
Now, one way to know that I at least try not to play favorites and I at least try to give honest reviews is that I will tell you, these B&D pliers are bad to the bone. And I'm pretty sure this dude fucking hates me who makes these. We had some words over some nonsense one time. I said a bunch of shit, substance abuse filled stuff. Since have gotten over it myself. I apologize, but I said some things that can't be taken back. So, I'm pretty sure he doesn't like me. So, regardless of his feelings about me, he has made the best edge plier type tool that I've used. Now, I'm going to do a rundown of 3 different types of edge tools on realworldpdr.com. Some are quite a bit cheaper than this, but if you can swing it in this kind of situation right here, these have already made the purchase completely worth it. Good tool, B&D. I applaud you. Sorry for the mean things I said.
Well, kinda. I did retaliate against some other shit that shouldn't have been said, but now we're just talking in circles. Back to work here. We are in the fucking home stretch here. Just trying to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. Now watch this shit.
Okay, let it be known, if you decide to do that and you screw something up, I did not tell you to do it, I'm just showing you that it is possible. So these rev paddles have this leather side. I felt like this was still a little too roundish, as in some of that metal been displaced around the corner there. So, you have to hit it absolutely flat. Don't be getting all cornery and stuff and putting big dents back in this, but if you get it absolutely flat, you can move big crowns like that directionally and fix a lot of the dent or have the dent fix itself, like I like to say.
Those rev paddles are 15.5 inches of pure hardwood awesomeness. Available at revolutionpdrtools.com. Now, there is like some condensation. It's a terribly muggy day here, but you can see here that we are pretty well cleaned up. We've got tiny little ripples and that kind of shit, but I'm showing you a black panel in a slow pan, in high definition, whatever. The results from where we were to where we are obviously dramatic. So thanks guys for bearing with me while I made a video that was largely just to make myself feel better. Way more motivated to make this, being that I could cuss and bitch about things that I've been wanting to bitch about.
Okay, let's talk about tools. Now, obviously the heroes of the day are Casper and I with Revolution PDR Tools. This declaration set, this is the First Amendment. This is version 2, but we're calling it the First Amendment. This thing allowed me to get leverage all over the place. Pause for witty shit and helpful information.
Well, I don't know how fucking witty it's going to be, but suffice it to say, given the challenges with a possible repaint on that bedside, without this deck set, this dent would have sucked. Available at the Revolution website and Anson. That's right, we in the big leagues now, dog.
Is that it? Fuck no. Me and Casper also came up with these tips. Revolution PDR tips. Name in progress. They'll be out in about a week or so. They work great for pushing. Obviously, they work great for knocking down as they were designed. Pause for some more fucking helpful information.
Revolution PDR Tools.
After that, you saw a doodah. If you really need some leverage or you just want to rip a fucking fender off a vehicle, the doodah is your animal. Here's where to get it.
Looks like Keiko picked these up, which might make them more available in the States.
If it's in stock, they come from Ireland. It's like really fucking hard to get them. But if you can, do it. All right, other tools worth mentioning, of course, were this Ultra tool here. This, what is that, 2 bins there? And a variety of different tips. This is a badass tool, stout little son of a bitch. Also, of course, the Reaper rods, Johnny V. Thanks for these, all the time being awesome. The Excalibur pick set. Here's where I'll say something interesting about Rick Hummert or some shit and where to get them. But you should buy these because these things are killer. Last but certainly not least, of course, B&D with these edge/fender pliers. These things worked great in my opinion. They are the best edge tool out. Now, they can't replace things like the edgy hooker. You're still gonna need that, but I think that in tandem with this would be a perfect edge combo. Dent lighting provided for this video by Illimitant and James Lee. Find those here. Or if you're looking for a mobile light, find them at revolutionpdrtools.com. Thank you, James, for hooking us up. Honorable mentions, we have the rev paddle that you saw me beating the brakes off of that bedside with a minute ago, and this Cars Former hammer. Now this thing has gotten all kinds of buzz from all kinds of people, deservingly so. Stanislav, you killed it on this design, and I would love to tell you where to get it, but you can't yet. You had to be lucky, like me, and have a wad of cash at NTE. So again, thank you, real world subscribers who are not the cussing type, for letting me have this one. It was a shitty fucking dent on a fucking repainted bedside. I'm fucking hot, and a virus is trying to kill all of us. I just needed this one. Thank you.
No, for real, thank you. I needed to get that out in some kind of semi-permanent form, fashion, function, like a YouTube video. So I will clean it up on the next one. But for now, fuck shit, fuck ass, bitch, fuck. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.